Hello, dear students. Very good morning to you all. In today's class, I teach you one more very simple topic named fruitful functions and void functions from Python. This topic is really very easy and simple one. If you get a question on this in VTU main exam, you are the luckiest student. To answer this question, just listen to me for 10 minutes so that you can get the knowledge as well as you can attempt this question in examination. First, we discuss about what are fruitful functions. As we know already, function is a subprogram that also contains a set of instructions to do specific task. This is what a function. It takes three inputs P, T, R. It calculates the simple interest P, T, R divided by 100 that will be stored there, and it returns that result back to the called function. This is a function. It takes input, it will process and gives the result back. This is what we call fruitful functions. Fruitful functions means what? These functions will take input, these functions will process, these functions will give the result back. That's why these are called fruitful functions. How to explain about this in examination? The functions that will take input, process and returns a value, that means as an answer to the called function, is called fruitful function. I hope you understood. This is what a fruitful function. I called this function in the Python main program here. I am calling here SI into bracket PP TTRR. First, before passing these values, I have to read, no? That's why I am reading the principal amount that will be stored in PP. I read the, I did mistake here. It should be time period. Enter time period. Afterwards, what you need to do? You need to read the rate of interest. Enter rate of interest. Okay, means principal amount will be stored in PP, time period will be stored in TT, rate of interest will be stored in RR. That one I pass here. Means this function calculates and gives the result back. That will be stored in answer that will be printed on terminal. This is what all about fruitful functions. I hope you understood. Next, I explain you what do you mean by void function. As we know already, void means no value at all. Okay, then what are void functions? Look at another example here. This is one more function you can see here. This is one more function. Function name is address. But the interesting thing what you can see here is that it is not taking any input. It is not giving us any value back also. It will not take input. It is not giving any value back also. Okay, but it does one particular work for us. It prints the address Mr. John Henry, Department of Mechanical Engineering, BLDEAs CET Vijayapur. Just we are calling this function inside the Python main program. Whenever we call this function here, this address will be printed. This is also a function, but important thing what we need to observe here is that it will not return any value. It will not return any value, but they are doing, this function is doing the work for us. That's a void function. The functions that will take input, means that may take or that may not. The function that will take input, that will process but do not return a value, but does specific work for us, that is what we call void functions. Void functions means they do the work for us but they do not return a value back. These functions may take the input or may not. These are called void functions. This is very simple example. I hope you understood. Okay, see these images also, your mind get relaxed. Okay, now in my notes already I explained about the fruitful and void functions. Just I will show for you. Okay, fruitful functions I explained here. These are the functions with arguments and returns a value. These functions will take the input, returns a value after processing. These functions will take input, process and gives the result back to the called function. That means data transmission will be there between called and calling function. Called function and calling function. Called function is the function whichever we call. Calling function is the Python main program. I give a very simple example. Author has given these examples. Import math package. I am using the function power 2 raised to 3 how much. This is the example for fruitful function. Because it takes the input, it is giving the result back. That's for fruitful. 2 raised to 3, 8 will be stored there. Print it. See another example. Square root. It is taking one input as well as it gives the square root back. That's why this is also fruitful function. See this example. And some more examples I have given in my notes too. For two functions to find square and cube of a number. This is a function. It takes one input, it returns square. This is another function. It takes cube and returns. Here one mistake I did here. Semicolon, a colon I have not given. You need to give. Just I read a number. I pass to square. I get the result back. I pass x to the cube. I get the result back. I print both. These two are fruitful functions. These functions are taking input as well as giving the result back. Like this in exam, explain fruitful functions, give some examples like this as well as some examples like this. If you give no, evaluator will be happier, because of which you get good marks. That helps you to settle in your life also. Void functions. These are the functions that will not return any value back to the called function, but they do the work for us. See another example given in my notes. Print underscore twice message. This function takes one input, means we are passing one message. Whatever it receives, that prints for twice. Enter a message. Now I call inside the Python main program. Enter a message to be print. For example, I enter BLDE. A BLDE will be stored in M. Then print twice. I am passing that BLDE. BLDE will be passed here. It prints twice. BLDE, BLDE. This is what such examples are given by author in the book. That's why I have written these things in my notes. Usually, evaluator refers the recommended book by the university. Usually, expectations of the evaluator will be the same how the author explained in the book. That's why first gain the knowledge, then try to impress the evaluator by giving more than one example. If you do so, no, you get very good marks as well as bright future is waiting for you. See another example. A Python code to read student name and display with appropriate message. This is a function. It reads name. It displays back hello name. All the best for Python exam. I am calling here enter student name. If I enter here John, John will be stored in NA. That when I pass here, that means I get the result like this. Enter student name as John. Hello John. All the best for Python examination. This is what all about today's class. These are the programs. This is a function to convert the temperature reading from Fahrenheit to Celsius. Already I explained in my last class. This takes Fahrenheit as an input. It converts into Celsius. It gives back. Here I am calling. This is what fruitful function. This is write a function to convert temperature reading from Celsius to Fahrenheit. This is the formula. We read Celsius. We are passing Celsius. We convert into Fahrenheit. Then we are printing. Just I read the Celsius, I am passing, I am going to get the result back. That when I print. These two are important. If you refer old question papers, there we find questions on these such programs. That's why please practice. I hope you understood. This is what all about today's class. That means in today's class you learnt fruitful and void functions in Python. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care.